Well, that would be like, leave it the way it is. It's better off. The company.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So we're going to do the opening prayer. This page 34. The first, we're going to practice the powa, one section. Then after that, Rinpoche going to give a teaching. It's a bardo. 6 bardo. So this morning and also afternoon. Page 34. All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness, be separate from suffering, and several way establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness, be separate from suffering, and severely I will establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious Buddhahood. Dalai Dhamma Sebeda, no bar sebege, Taraba Dam Jen Jembe Barada Jubar, Seba Dam Je So Sebe. Manam gada nyambe sem jen dam je dewa dan de dongar dan jar nyor de la na me ba yanda bar zo be san jo rumbo je do bar za. Thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and the mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and the mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and mind. We take refuge in the kind Ru Lama and the Lineage Lamas. We take refuge in the deity of the mandalas of the Yadams. We take refuge in the all exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dhakas, darkness, Dharma gardens, possessors of the eye of wisdom. 36. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma and likewise in the example of Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas embodied the enlightened mind and the progress on the Bodhisattva's path, are true for the benefit of all sentient beings, giving birth to bodhichitta, and apply myself to a complete stage of the path. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma and likewise in the example of the Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas embodied the enlightened mind, and the progress on the Bodhisattva's path, are true for the benefit of all sentient beings, giving birth to bodhichitta, and applying myself to a complete stage of the path. Sanjo Nyingbo Je Bar, Sanje Nam Lai Jab Sem Je, Chudan Sanjo Semba Ye, So Lai De Yin Jab Sem Je, Darang Angel de Ye, Sanjo Dong Ne Jibadang, Sanjo Sembe La Bala, De Darang Ye Ne Badar, De Yin Ro La Ben Dong De, Sanjo Se Ne Ji Je Yen, De yin de ne la ba la, ren ba yin de la ba re je. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of Janarastra and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of Janarastra and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. Sanje Chidain Zojen Jonala, Sanjo Barade Dane Jabzenje, Dage Jinzo Jibe Sonamji, Drola Benzer Sanje Drubare Sho. May all Mother Sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the cause of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they never be separate from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all Mother Sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the cause of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they never be separate from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. Mai Nanga Danyam Bezim Jen Damje Dewa Dan Deve Jodan Dembara George Dongara Dan Dongara Jodan Drawara George Dongara Mebe Dewa Dan Drawa George Nyeren Chadan Yedan Draru Danyon La Nebara George. I bow down respectfully with my body, speech, and faithful mind to all Tathagatas and the 10 directions. Those who have already reached the Tathagata state, those who are reaching it at present, and those Tathagatas still to come. Through the power of Samantha Buddha's prayer, may all Buddhas manifest vividly in my mind. I prostrate to them, multiplying my body as many times as there are atoms of the earth. In each atom, I visualize as many Buddhas as there are atoms, surround my countless Bodhisattvas. Thus all space is filled with Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. I praise all Buddhas through manifesting, chanting, expressing the great origin of the excellent qualities. To all Buddhas, I make offerings of various pure flowers, flowing garlands of music, ornamenting oils, manifesting light and fragrant incense. I make offerings to them of fine garments, perfume and perfume, paired high as Mount Meru, and arranged in the most beautiful way. I visualize the highest and most extensive offerings, and offer them with great faith to all Buddhas. I prostrate to Buddhas and make offerings to them, following the deeds of the great Bodhisattva Samantabhadra. I confess to you, Buddhas, whatever negative actions I have committed due to the power of anger, desire, and ignorance. I rejoice in the merit of all the Buddhas and the 10 directions of the great Bodhisattvas and the Pakchika Buddhas, those who have attained aharaship, those who have entered the path of aharaship, and all other beings. I request to all great protectors and Buddha to turn the highest well of Dharma as the light displaying the darkness of beings in the 10 directions and leading them gradually to the enlightened state. I make request to those Buddhas intending to pass into Nirvana to live long for as many eons as there are atoms of the earth in order to benefit all beings. Whatever merit I have gathered through postations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of the enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. I call refuge, ornament of the world. Your fame provides the 3,000 worlds. You are the victor, Vajradhara, widow dropped, I bow, feet of Father Jigtin Sungo. Continually I think of no one but you, compassionate one, grant your blessing. Dispel the darkness that surrounds my heart. Please bless me so that I can realize the unliberated nature of mind. Om Benzara Zado Samaya Nebalaya Benzara Zado Dinoba Tidaru Mebawa Sobegayo Mebawa Sobegayo Mebawa Anerado Mebawa Sarva Siddhi Minjayanza Sarva Karma Isizame Siddhan Yeyang Guru Hom Ho Bangave Sarva Tadangata Benzarama Mimen Benzaraba Ma Samaya Sadua page 53. Lama, please hear me, gracious Lama, Lord of four kayas, Tapo Kaju, the crown of all, the leader of beings, the guide on the Sire path, the embodiment of compassion, the range of the Buddha, the incomparable precious one, fearless teacher, the great protector Digomba, Vajradhara, please hear me. I pray, Lord, upon me with compassion and bestow upon me blessing and the true accomplishment. Grant me know of spontaneously attainment of the true benefits for oneself and others. Bestow upon me the fruit. Lama, please hear me. Glorious Lama, Lord of four kayas, Tapo Kaju, the crown of all, the leader of beings, the guide on the secret path, the embodiment of compassion, the range of the Buddha, incomparable gracious one, fearless teacher, the great protector Digomba, Vajradhara, please, I pray, Lord, upon me with compassion and bestow upon me blessing and the true accomplishment. Grant me now of spontaneously attainment of the true benefit, oneself and others, bestow upon me the fruit. Lama Jeno Parade Lama Kye Wanso Tabo Gaju Yong Je Zo Yin Rowe De Pong Tambe Lam Do Tu Je Ngabda Jarwe Jarasa Kare Dadar Tomba Dame Dorje Jangwang Gombo Gomba Jembo Jeno Sorwai Deso Toji Zhe Sinji Lobje Mero Namye Tata Zorje Tonye Leno Deva Zorje 63. Short supplication to the Lineage Masters. I pray to Pema Sambhava from Ordiyana, bestow your blessing for the realization of the profound path of Apoa. Bestow your blessing to the rich purely by the quick path of Apoa. The moment we die, may we be born in the blissful purely of Devachi. I prostrate to Buddha Amitabha, Tibetan. Orjin be man jung ne lai sor wan de sa lai po wan jung war sin ji lo nye lai po wen kar ju ju ba sin ji lo da son de ne zen be jir ma da De wai jin de je war zin je lo san je o ba me la san zi lo. Next page. De do nye dai san je lai sor wan de so me nam gai jam zin lai sor wan de pao de sang gai ban ra lai sor wan de pa gu zhi me lo zhi lai sor wan de chi je san je jam zin lai sor wan de so me ma den zin je lai sor wan de yong zin ben zo nam je lai so ruan de keng jen nam jo ben so lai so ruan de je zen gong jo re na lai so ruan de ren zen chi je zhao bai lai so ruan de gong jo zhen le nam ja lai so ruan de gong jo zhen le zang bo lai so ruan de je je dong zhou jie jia lai so ruan de gong jo den zhen zhong de lai so ruan de yong zhen qi jie jiang zhen lai so ruan de den zhen qi jie nian ma lai so ruan de chab dai bei me jiang zhen lai so ruan de jie zhen dharma dan zai lai so ruan de gar jie sang jiu wang bo lai so ruan de chi jin lo zhi jiang zhen lai so ruan de ren jin den ben zi jian lai so ruan de gong jiu tu jie nian ma lai so ruan de lo zhe jie wan lo zhi lai so ruan de or jin ne den dor jie lai so ruan de jie zhen gong jiu qi jia lai so ruan de den zhen qi jie lo zhi lai so ruan de te den xie wen lo zhi lai so ruan de den zhen qi jie yong ne lai so ruan de chen jian za wei la ma lai so ruan de sa lam po wan yong wa re xin ji lo như lai po wen ka re ju zhu ba re xin ji lo da zon de ne zhen bi ju ma da de wai jian de jie wa re xin ji lo san jie wo ba me lai san ze lo. The same page starting Tianqin Zava Lama La So and so we have to chant that twice Tibetan and also twice English. The page 65. You can see the Tianqin Zava Lama La So and right up prayer to the gracious Ru Lama. So we're going to start in the Tibetan. We're going to stay in this page like maybe 10-20 minutes. Tianqin Zava Lama Lai So Ruan De Sa Lai Bo Wan Yong Wa Re Xin Ji Lo Như Lam Bo Wen Ka Re Ju Zhu Ba Re Xin Ji Lo Da Zon De Ne Zhen Bi Ju Ma Da De Wai Jin De Jie Wa Re Xin Ji Lo San Jie Wu Ba Mi La San Zi Lo Chen Jie Za Wei La Ma Lai So Ruan De Sa Lai Po Wan Yong Wa Re Xin Ji Lo Như Lai Po Wen Ka Re Ju Zhu Ba Xin Ji Lo Da Zon De Ne Zhen Bi Ju Ma Da De Wai Jin De Jie Wa Re Xin Ji Lo Sanje Oba Mila Sanzelo. English, I pray to the gracious Lord Lama, bestow your blessing for the realization of the profound path of power. Bestow your blessing to reach the pure lane by quick path of power. The moment we die, may we be born in the blissful pure lane of Devachi. Apostle Buddha Amitabha. I pray to the gracious Lord Lama, bestow your blessing for the realization of the profound path of power. Bestow your blessing to reach the pure lane by quick path of power. The moment we die, may we be born in the peaceful pure lane of Devachi. Apostle to Buddha Amitabha. I pray to the gracious Lord Lama, bestow your blessing for the realization of the profound path of power. Bestow blessing to reach the pure lane by quick path of power. The moment we die, may we be born in the blissful pure lane of Devachi. Apostle Buddha Amitabha. So now we have to visualize yesterday the Rinpoche taught the teaching. So please sit in the 7-point posture. So close eye and visualize clearly. So please close the door, and people who are in the temple, so stay in the temple. Then after we have to close the door and until finish the power. So no opening the door again. Everybody ready? So visualize, and also we meditate. I'm going to read the visualization, so please, you know that I'm going to read, and you can maybe reminding again, you know, visualization. So please close eye. From the sphere of emptiness, I rise as red Vajrayogini. She holds a cup, knife, and a skull cup. Her face is that of a grunting soul with an upturned nose. She is naked, adorned by bone ornaments and dancing. The inside and outside of her body is transparent. In the center of the body is the central channel. It is blue on the outside, red on the inside, and possesses the 4 characteristics. There is a hole in the upper end of the channel and it is closed below the sacred place at the bottom. At the heart center is a red lotus. On its pollen bead is a red bindu that is only the size of a pea. It is the nature of consciousness. It is shiny, round, bouncing, vibrating, and transparently glimmering. Your root guru, Amitabha, is sitting with the soles of his feet on the Dharma post aperture. The hole at the upper end of the central channel, at the crown of your head. Visualizing thus with strong humility and affection. Now we all together 3 times. Hey, hey, hey. Go. Hey, hey, hey. Go. Hey, hey, hey. Open the eye. We're going to read the prayer again. Tenjen zave lama lai zorwa de salaim po wain jung war sinji lo nye laim po wen gar ju du bar sinji lo da son de ne zen pe jur ma da de wai jian de jie war sinji lo san ye wo ba me lai san zi lo ten jie za ve la ma lai zor wan de sa lai bo wan yong war sin ji lo nye lai bo wen gar ju du bar sin ji lo da son de ne zen pe jir ma da de wai jian de jie war sin ji lo san jie wu ba me la san zi lo. I pray to the gracious Lord Lama Bestow your blessing for the realization of the profound path of power. Bestow your blessing to reach the pure lane by quick path of power. The moment we die, may we be born in the blissful pure lane of Devachin. I pause to Buddha Amitabha. I pray to the gracious Ru Lama. Bestow your blessing for the realization of the profound path of power. Bestow your blessing to reach the pure lane by quick path of power. The moment we die, may we be born in the blissful pure lane of Devachin. Apostle Buddha Amitabha. I pray to gracious Ru Lama. Bestow your blessing for the realization of a profound path of power. Bestow your blessing to reach the pure lane by quick path of power. The moment we die, may we be born in the blissful pure lane of Devachin. Apostle Buddha Amitabha. Close eye and visualize. Visualize our own bodies, Vajrayogini, or any Yadam deity. Visualize center channel. Visualize Bindu consciousness in the heart center. Visualize Buddha Amitabha and our own crown. Open eye. Tenjen zave lama lai zorwan de sa lai bo wai jong war sin je lo nye lai bo wen gar ju ju bar sin je lo da son de ne sen be ju ma da Dewa jende jewa sin je lo san je oba me lai san ze lo ten je za ve la ma lai zor wan de sa lai bo wan yong wa sin je lo nye lai bo wen gar ju du bar sin je lo da son de ne zen be je ma da de wa jen de je wa sin je lo san je o ba me la san ze lo. I pray to the gracious Ru Lama. Bestow your blessing for the realization of a profound path of power. Bestow your blessing to reach the pure lane by quick path of power. The moment we die, may we be born in the blissful pure lane of Devachin. I pause to Buddha Amitabha. I pray to the gracious Ru Lama. Bestow your blessing for the realization of the profound path of power. Bestow your blessing to the reach pure lane by quick path of power. The moment we die, may we be born in the blissful pure line of Devaji. Pose to Buddha Amitabha. Close eye. See 7-point posture. Visualize our body is Yadam Deity. Visualize the center channel. Visualize consciousness being do in the heart center. Visualize the Buddha Amitabha on your crown. Hey! 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 Now visualize the Buddha Amitabha descend your crown into your, dissolve to your heart center. Buddha Amitabha and your consciousness is inseparable. No, visualize transform to the Buddha Amitabha. So now you are Buddha Amitabha. Go to next page. Lord Amitabha, who is our God in enlightenment, who guards us from untimely death, protector of the helpless and the suffering, Buddha Amitabha, to your praise. Go to Tibetan. Ye ten be zo se ba mi te men je wa ma len yong ze be go me do ngar je ba nam je ja san je se ba me la san ze lo Namo Bhagavate Aparamata Ayunjana Sambhane Sita Tenzo Ranzai Tathangataya Aharte Samnya Sambhidai Tiyata Om Pinye Pinye Maha Pinye Aparamata Pinye Aparamata Yanjana Sambaro Pasate Om Sarva Sankar Parishida Dharma Te Gangana Samengate Sobhava Bashide Mahayan Paravara Soha Om Amarana Ziving Taya Soha. Page 67. Om Amarana Ziving Taya Soha. Om Amarana Ziving Taya. Om Amarana Ziving Taya Soha. 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 Om Amarana Ziving. Om Amarana Ziving Taya Soha. Om Amarana Ziving Taya Soha. Om Amarana Ziving Taya Soha. Om Amarana Ziving Taya. Om Amarana Ziving Taya Soha. Om Amarana Ziving Taya Soha. Om Amarana Ziving Taya Soha. Om Amarana Ziving Taya. Om Amarana Ziving Taya Soha. Om Amarana Ziving Taya Soha. Om Amarana Ziving Taya Soha. Om Amarana. Om Amarana Ziving Taya Soha. 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 Om Amarana Ziving. Om Amarana Ziving Taya Soha. By the virtue of doing this practice, may I quickly attain the realization of Amitayos and all beings without exception. To this some step may I come to lead. Gewan de nyorda da seba mengo lazo rubjurne dowa jeja male ba de sala gobar yo sa ye beje so ye me do trai ra len ye nye de jen ban de san ye yen la me de burwa ye do ge nam da yen de ju ba yong gur nam ra la ba de za ye so sem je nam je sam ba dang lo ye ze da je da wa che jong de mo de ba ye che jeng ko lo ko de zo.
Bardo Tropolara. Temple. Which one is it? Bardo. What's he do? Johnny. The 6 Bardos 6
我是 야바라네 사실은요 라스 주가고도 대바사를 넘으셔서 대해서 하잖아요 그때 야 처음에 먼저 지라서 심지어도 다치나 담아 주는데 사도서 애들이 말라리바 그 체력만 쓰고 뭘 봐도 고려래 진짜 특히 새롭게 요래 그런 거 보면 다 탔나 아들이 다들 특히 이제 뭐 저도 그림을 고대냐면 이제 새롭라더라고 가서 오래래 특히 새롭게 도다지 관계는 와요래 마음과 뛰는 다 버래 특히 너네들이 다양 라마가 제도도만 보여래 그렇게 봐요래.
So we come back to our Milarepa teachings here in the Green Book, and there is a song that is a teaching by Milarepa to Teringma on a teaching on the bardo, and now it's taken from the songs of Milarepa, the long book, and so here only two teachings or verses are taking, or songs are taking out. But what we have here, and that's on page 25 in our Green Book, and so what we have here is just the actual versified version of the teaching, the song itself. If you would like to study this more deeper, you should look at the spiritual songs of Milarepa, the big book. And there's also a commentary in prose version to that, and the meaning is the same, but it's very clear if you also read that version in the book in the future. So now the beginning of the versified version here is, it begins with like a praise to the gurus. So now we begin with the versified version of this teaching, and in general, of course, there is much to be said about that, but we don't have so much time, so we go straight to the actual teaching, and that actually just begins on page 26 in the first paragraph, where it says, "Know then that the 6 dharmas of Bardo are the root of all." What comes before on page 25 is basically a praise to the gurus and an introduction to what distinguishes these teachings.
셔차지 준이 받았다 준이 받았다 싹디 받았는데 이 말에 제가 받아서 준이 받아 준이 받아
시차드
스바바도 준이 받아다 준이 받아 스바바도
밀람파도
밀람 체데 체데다 체데 제네 밀람 something 받았어 체크 받아 준이 받아 스바바도
이게 노는도 봐. 오케이. 또 봐도 좋지. 봐도 좋지. 체제 가져가려 요래. 그냥 말아봐도 도도도 되네. 내가 좀 말해. 근데 아주 가서 핀보여 했지.
So there are 6 bardos, and these are like transitory periods, transitional periods, and there is 3 of this life and 3 beyond this life. So the 3 bardos of this life, or while we are alive, it's called the bardo of living, the bardo of dreaming, and the bardo of meditation. And then there is 3 bardos after we have died. That is or related to dying. The first one is the bardo of dying. Second one, the bardo of dharmata. And the third one, the bardo of becoming. So in total, we have 6 bardos. And here the teachings on the 6 bardos by Milarepa really just teach on the essential meaning, the key points that are most important on the 6 bardos. There is other teachings on the 6 bardos you can find in various places, but here these teachings really hit the essential point, and they are very clear and very beneficial.
Bardos 봐야 되네. 텔레보다 다들 마인가라 다 호지와 랑이 정대 산이 마셔 봐도 텔레 봐도 네 말람 봐도 파이 거기 샤와다 쪽과 차로 요래 참 마세 버렸더니 말람 봐도 이 봐도 이 밤마 봐를 이 봐를 봐도 속을 요래지.
And so this term bardo, it means, it refers to a certain period, a transitionary period, a certain time period. And so the bardo of living is the time, it begins with the time where the consciousness enters the womb of the mother, and it ends with the time we die. So this entire life is called the bardo of living. And then the bardo of dreaming is begins when we are falling asleep. And falling asleep actually is the same as dying. So it begins with falling asleep and it lasts until we wake up from sleep. That's the bardo of dreaming. So this term bardo means like a transitory, a transitional period.
처음에 이제 땀내 다산이 목만 제받아들은 척박도 없어. 상비바도 다가서 짬도 마주는 야미 제거래. 짬도 마주는 양서 랑이 다통 제가 거서 맡아받았더니 바로 상비바도 없어. 그래서 다 쪼드린 것을 야미 받아서 상비바도 들어서 땅에 내려가게 양서라데 제가 털게들 줄게고 대같이 보여야지.
And then the bardo of dying is then when we, for example, it begins with when we are struck by, for example, a terminal illness, we are certain to die, until the moment the breath ceases. And so then also within the bardo of living actually is the bardo of meditation, of practice, and that really begins when we first take the refuge vow, and then we begin to engage in practice, and it lasts until we attain the ultimate fruition, the 3 kayas. And so from our perspective as practitioners, it is most important to pay attention to that bardo of meditation, to practice and to be diligent in practice until the fruition is attained. So that is to us most important.
The parcelda checkapardoni parcel tu sono sai della toma canre della lancio passam gingun job ne kanon ko yang chan 참 연맥점 소상스 실행적으로 모습이 없어 되네 시바선 저 사오사탄 살았으면 되게 강래들이 시인제들이 치 대화라 신사 차들이 네시바라 되는들이 대화도 장들 대화가 저점시 사마다 저점시 동하게 저들이 다디는 용어 좋거나 답들이 되게 들이 네 감성 거야 양양 찬수 감성 되는 강에 또 감성 미그 감성 대수 뭐 감성데 류요미가 제발 루차라가 제발 마도 되는 도바 대안도 받아 동행도 받아 직장이요래 들들 가리 양양 참대 색깔에 되네 다디지 오늘 다디지 자공도 차대요래 이제 다디지 인핑을 로사초선데 식마탁 받더니 딱 공코라지 별로 담비 취들 전나야 되네 콜절도 야요서 강에 다 지야 서망아 소고주 체를 모두 연구선은 되는 코비절을 하고 요래 저는 랑탄의 이 답을 랑도 타고서는 다 매가라고 요래 너는 다지가 타와 다지지 매가라고 요래 대회에서 봐서는 코비절 다지래 뜻다잖아요. 제가 그 토만이 습기 탐지에 싸움고 동대 사제 탑락해 밖에 나디 자와에 셔커를 체 돼서 뭐래 오 감정 거에 저 역할 다 당지 나디는 무슨 뭐래
And so then here actually the instructions by Milarepa mainly will begin with the bardo of dying. It says here on page 26, 3 traveling merchants on a long journey when in a perilous place sent out for help. When they saw their guides return with native welcomers, they were overwhelmed with joy. These 3 like travelers, or how is it? It also refers to where is it? We go later down. The 3 realms of samsara. Sorry, yeah. Here in the beginning. So along the path of the 3 existences, there is no end of wandering in samsara. So those 3 existences, so there's 3 planes or realms of samsaric existence. Those planes are that above the earth, on the surface, and below. And existence, or samsaric existence here, it means it refers to the samsaric existence, which is a clinging and attachment to the pleasures, the happiness of this life. And then, even though we want to be happy, we do not know the causes of happiness. We do not know that these causes are love and compassion. And ignorant of that, striving after happiness, we are only creating the causes of suffering. Because what we actually do is all motivated by self-grasping and then the 6 afflictive emotions that arise from self-grasping. So then the 3, that leads to then birth in the 3 realms. The 3 realms of samsara are the desire realm, form realm, and formless realm. And so here, there's only a difference in whether or not one has a body, or how subtle or coarse one's body is. But essentially, all those beings want the same. They all want to be happy, and they do not want to suffer. But then they do not know how to create that, so they wander in samsara, and that is due to self-grasping, which is like an ice block. And until they have destroyed self-grasping with an altruistic mind, with bodhichitta, they will continue to wander in samsara. And then, even though one might practice the holy Dharma, that practice itself might still become the cause for samsara. For example, if you practice it with some worldly intentions, like becoming wealthy or powerful and so on in future lives or in the future, then that practice itself becomes a further cause of samsara. So in order to free oneself, and in order to then also help others become liberated, we must destroy that concept of a self entirely. Even the most subtle grasping at a self must be destroyed through the altruistic mind. So in brief, what we really call those three existences of samsara comes down to self-grasping. And that is why in the very beginning of any practice we do, we first always think of all sentient beings. That was a skillful method by the Buddha to eliminate self-grasping. So the cause of these three states of samsaric existence is self-grasping, and it is this self-grasping that we first have to identify.
Oh, they said to the gang that they so much Dharma Yoga Yamsa marriage. Nibati Dharma Yoga Yamsa Malamu Kadaris, Megivati. The Dharma Yoga Yamsa Malana, Piroshla Yamari, somebody gang, Dharma Mila Yamsa Malamu Kada, they knew that you got chip for your so Muslim divide the sharpness somewhere so.
So then in the bottom later it mentions there's three travelers, or basically there's three kinds of individuals. And that is, the first kind of individual is one who possesses the instructions and also engages in practice. And such a practitioner will experience happiness in this life and future lives. And then the second person is the one who has the instructions but does not practice them. And then having the instructions alone will not be of so much benefit. And then the third person is the one who does not have the instructions and also does not practice. So those last two kind of individuals, they will run into difficulties. So then in the next one there is this traveler, and so one of them is like sent out on a perilous path and then for help. And when they saw their guides return with native welcomers, they were overwhelmed with joy. Basically it is someone, now we are speaking about someone who, like the one who does not have the instruction and also doesn't practice. So someone who is attached to the happiness and the pleasures of this life. And maybe due to some virtue that they have accumulated in previous lives, in this life they do not have a lot of difficulties. They are wealthy, they have a family, husband, wife, children, and so on. And they think that they don't have any need for the Dharma, any religion. So they do not have the instruction and they also do not practice. They are distracted by their relatives and friends and the pleasures of this life. And amongst them, the demons, this is the third demon, the demon of the son of the gods.
Supported Majarna doesn't seem as Sani Pisatu, Daniel on the Chi, Ponte Pons of the Rolling Sar, Ponte Pons of the Madonna, so Ponte Pons of the Seda, Cochosum, Jabidovaret, and on the Jabidovashini, treat the Jimmy Jackie Tomba, the Pin of Tomba, 람창의 잡아서 삼지 맞아도 잡아라 통나 다 유모바 잡아라 통나 되니라가 잡아 상호 사족선 사바다 이제데 유모바 세당다 차도 좀 잡아 처리된 세당의 차도를 대기 좀들이 삼제에 받던 걸 삼제면은 다 세당다 차도 그냥 왔던 거요 배치서 말이야 내 총과대 잡고 총과는 이제 당겨요 해서
So it says that then without the reliable guides, they would have lost their way and fallen into the hands of enemies. So this guide here should be understood with as the refuge in the three jewels. That is the guide. So then oneself is like this merchant, this traveler. And the enemy or the robbers that we meet along the way are our own afflictive emotions. And so when we meet these enemies along the way, when we meet afflictive emotions, especially anger and jealousy, then the anger and jealousy will destroy our seeds of liberation, that is bodhichitta, love and compassion. And so then if anger and jealousy destroy our love and we have lost our love, then as a result of that we will fall into the hell realms as a result of those negative emotions of anger and jealousy.
사실 첫 산나야 되네 니다 힘바라 니다 사별 착신요나 그 대답제다 니다 누구 많이 봐 착신이 또 그들이라고 니다 적지네 용나 그 대답제야 니들이서 고초서나 접처럼 마시네 대신에 그냥 성능적으로 요래 리그리 다다 좋아 정전에 더송을 가나 그렇게 좀 번역섬도 강을 되래 해당 세상 타도서를 냐와이다 들었음 냐와이다 들었음 성수에 내에 세송발에
And so then it says, so then these merchants then go abroad with these three good guides. Fear and misgiving fill their minds. By false prophecies and revelations, three devils lead them to a bandit's ambush. So that is now when someone has died, and you die and you continue to be attached to your families and friends, your loved ones, then they still might appear to you like taking on a certain form and lead you astray after you have died. And that is not what appears then, is just your attachment in the mind and not those loved ones. So basically, if you do not know how to seek refuge in the three jewels, they will drag you into the three lower realms. So here these three devils here actually refers to the three afflictive emotions that lead to birth in the lower realms. That is anger or hatred, greed or stinginess, and jealousy that leads to birth in hell as a hungry spirit or an animal.
드타듬지 파도를 대부대 이어에다 랍 야자사타 되는 야미지 바타게 바도요 말에 답하신 감는 로요에 로거다 축구가서가 상계로요에 되는 대과치와도 좀 맞아서 som들이 양 유무 촉치나 대마사되더니 야와사이다를 마로요에 바바 바도에 지나니더니 잡을들이라게 체 팽바 마조네 체 바치게 로로 바치 뒤만 이미 쳐와라데 샤송제다들이 바도를 내고 요래 그 같이 바도를 유는 못해 그 요래 그 같이 바도를 유는 통통들 같이 유는 통하다 드차 드인송다다 보게 저거 요래 대라더니 다다다 강행 체크 요래서
And so then it says, and thus wanderers in the dark Siva Bardo will freeze and burn for 49 days, driven by the force of karma to samsara's prison to return. So then, when in the bardo, traditionally it is thought that one spends 49 days in the bardo, but actually it is not that certain. And also there are, on both ends, there are two, so to say, extremes that actually never go to the bardo. It is only those beings in between that go into the bardo. So on the one side of the spectrum, there is the higher spectrum, the higher side, that is where you go up instantly. You don't even go to the bardo. And that is, there are certain practitioners who actually never go into the bardo because before going to the bardo, they already go to the Pure Lands or they attain enlightenment as a Dharma, in the Dharmakaya or as a Sambhogakaya. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we have those extremely sinful people. And they also do not go right into the bardo, but directly go into the lower realms. And that is when one's afflictive emotions are very powerful and one has been very sinful, then one may instantly take birth in the hell realms or as a hungry spirit. And then there's all those beings in between. And there's also a difference in as for how long they spend in the bardo. There is, for example, some in this world who encounter an untimely death. They encounter an obstacle and then they die an untimely death. So in other words, they die before their lifespan is actually completed. And then until that is completed, they will have to remain in the bardo. So the timing is uncertain. Some beings remain in the bardo for very long, and some for a much shorter time. And so according to the Tibetan tradition, this average time, this general time that beings spend in the bardo, which is a shorter time, are 7 weeks or 49 days. And during this time, they encounter a lot of difficulties and suffering.
Three mena trinitata, rank singing the Shaleta Santon, seven de Kayam machines, Manaja, the Mavana one Hongur, Trinity, Japata and Siraki, Rangi Jinhangio, Penamana and Jinhangore, Theatre of Jinhangore, the Milarepa sonately, said there is some Mabanas, Drumming, Sesame Drumming, or Sargon Warriors. Yalamuri or Milarepa or she. They must say that they knew more about more she. The day that not on she, they knew about short up, such of the that and donor. So sort of a shut, give a shut the already. Sesama, Togu or Savayanji yours. They military maba now moves about the area. They didn't Chadang Donghetanti, Nyapton Yong or Sem Sao. Lapsak들이 이 세바를 바디 나와도 내가 나와야 돼. 뭐라면 이선 뭐라만이들이 세토고요래. 드림트바디 셔토고요래. 별로다다 안 가서 뭐라면 야매 제주나 정상시오나 어디 뭐라면 하고나들이 이 세바들 뒤동에서 다 초와 용. 대장은 유모 봤대. 하고나 유모 tor 맞잖아. 그럼 뭐라면 우리 초와지 다 세를 냈고요래. 이 초와들이 짜리냐면 같이 초와들 문에 장에 다도 초와래 하적카 차와 다들 매일 냐면 든저 차서 하적동에 가 차고 이 학원을 납상미로 빼지다 그래 남문이 쳐봤대리 대외들이 마바다바 때들이 초장동안 냐서 요거요래 된일에지 집장 때서 그렇게 봐도들이 Rabda Tritata was give Kurma, give Rabdashi, Yore, 다 슈르치라 기와 드미 사바단 히지 탑제랑게 기와 가서 접질 기와 드리지 니산 예서가들이 만들어서 고아 그저도 오나 진짜들이 다 타고시 하는 야로 타고 요래 대리들 다다 사초지고 게르람 다음에 와 다고 직정매가 됐다거나 들리는 이 성성을 양 만들고 요래 들리지 집랑 때 사양 호소라 요호소 들랑을 내 요거 속체 정했더니 진도 요래
So it says the wanderers in the dark Sipa Bardo. So they wander in the state of darkness. There's nothing they can see. And so that actually is when they lack the clarity of mind. For example, if you have habituated to the practices of shamatha and vipassana in your lifetime and have sustained mindfulness, that mindfulness, this awareness is clarity. And when that clarity remains, then, for example, bardo beings can see each other. They might possess 6 kinds of clairvoyant powers and so on. But otherwise, there is no clarity at all. If you have never really seen the nature of your mind and you have not developed any kind of meditation of shamatha and vipassana or practiced mindfulness and so on, then there will be only darkness. There is an experience of finding yourself in complete darkness. For example, also now when we are in a very dark place, we naturally feel afraid. So that kind of fear of being enveloped in darkness will arise at that time. And it is much more intense than in this life. So that is what Milarepa here refers to as this dark Sipa Bardo. And so Milarepa had also said then elsewhere that to clear away this darkness, the lamp flame for the future, for future lives, is the practice on the meditation on the luminous nature of your mind. So that is, for example, in your day-to-day life, you sustain mindfulness, or you practice to recognize the dream state. In your waking state, you recognize all of the afflictive emotions and all of the thoughts arising in your mind, and you are able to let go of them, and you're able to hold on to bodhichitta. So that torch is that of discriminating wisdom or mindfulness. It has the nature of clarity, not darkness. And if you do not have this torch of mindfulness, then you will find yourself enveloped in darkness in that state, in the bardo. And in that state, then you'll experience being driven by the force of karma and experience all kinds of frightening sensations and appearances, heat and cold and so on. So, for example, if the mind is very clear, you will instantly recognize that. For example, if you have a negative dream, you instantly wake up from that dream. Or if you're in the bardo and these frightening appearances manifest, you can recognize them to be illusory or dreamlike by nature. You can recognize the delusion, that there are nothing but the confused perceptions of your own mind, and you're able to make them calm down, like waking up from sleep. And then, for example, right now, when you're dreaming and you're having a nightmare, you're afraid, also what often happens is that you do recognize that you're in the dream state due to the fear, but you cannot make yourself wake up, and you will have to continue to experience that fear until you're waking up. So that is, for example, when you're able to recognize that you are afflicted, you recognize the emotions, but you're not able to liberate them. So even though you know that you're afflicted, the feeling of the affliction still remains. So someone who has not practiced at all, then to them the experience, the sensation of these terrifying manifestations in the bardo will become intensified. There are the same feelings that you're having right now in this life, but they're much more intense in the bardo. It is said 7 times more intense. They're multiplied. So the suffering is more intense. And the moment you sustain some clarity, give rise to some clarity, that is the moment you recognize that these sensations of suffering will disappear in the bardo. But for as long as you are in darkness, you are bound to experience. And so that is when you do not have any kind of clarity. So it says you are like without any, I don't know where it says that, without any guide, basically. For example, you can be your own guide by sustaining mindfulness, and then ideally you are guided by your own previously practiced virtue, especially love and compassion. And through that, you will become your own guide, and then also you are supported by your families and friends who, for example, recite Mani Mantra for you and so on. And in that way, you will be able to go up into the Pure Lands. And if not, if you're not backed by any kind of guide, yourself and others, then it is like you have no support at all, and then will go down into the 3 lower realms. And that where you will actually go then depends on whichever of the afflictive emotions is predominant.
나 제시 바도를 나타와 뛰는 판을 사자체부 또 내리 밑에 나와 제시 바도를 과심저 자정서서 또 밑에 그 나와 지와다 저 체에서 스바다다게 저관에 그 시군을 다 말람되냐 말이야 저기라 가가리 딱지에 땅에 되지나 우리 다시나 되는 말람다 말이야 저관에 말이야 그 저관에 되는 가세 오 닦고 관에 상고요래 얘는 다다 지와한테 막 말라 파시가 루납시 les autres mais pas mal la show ne jikti kharo jiwa lang ti sani ma she pa de ya je balam ta cha de ma mo so lo de ja chen sa gu yo de yin na sani cha cha ju o nga khatang jikti mo yo ting thong so o khatang malam ta cha de te pa do ji ngle de cha yong gu yo le de ta da malam ka le malam te gu cha de yo le 그 최대양 잡아줘 차 제일 양다양도 딱지 땅나 뒤가르더니 사자집에 따와라더니 최대 벌랑 따와 돈을 받아야 벌랑 따와 돈 벌랑 따와 돈을 이 용어버랑 샤야 이 말이 강나를 제가 다다다 유모버 시장을 타돌아서 샤로나 라사 심도 요래 되게 레사크요 말이 레 마사를 받더니 나와지 샤야용을 샤지데 사족세보랑 우리 샤감 샤용을 나디데 유모버랑 우리들이 유모버 도와서 샤는 거래 대회는 같이 샤용을 하더니 내가 박차 차서는데 샤용을 할때 실토고요래 대회 체제도 서만이 기발에서는 르파셈지 자종 차 나와 제시 받으러 다 기와 쇼하데 르파셈지 자종되나 따따따 인파긴 뭐봐 세는 기와테 하고래 오 이는 파이 시당은 오 시당랑 청고 시당들이 그 하고도 저 시당고 식도 시당도 식도 시당 지리들이 화적 싸우들이 자연거리 들 매력답이 오 남이 심부터 유모가 빼패는 아 유모가 빼야고래 매적 시당은 오, 오늘 콩톡지지 콩팅가 시당 상승 그 시당들이 빙송으로 대도오셔는 과세도 짜종들을 그래서 들 짜종만하지 들이 시랍대 너무 바로 짜종거리 대짜종을 너무 같이 속신하더니 버신같이 신하더니 매스에서 속체요래 대외적인 뭔가랑 이 시인에서 가지고 상하게 됐은 거요래 짜종록 때를 봐서 짜종 사서
So then it says from
빠센트 짜종 사
So, if from this prison you would escape, you should contemplate the oneness of the samsara, nirvana, bardo, and meditate on the root principle, truth, absolute, the Mahamudra. So, when you have realized the view of Mahamudra in this life, then you have recognized, you understand that this life and the bardo and future lives are all the one. And so, for example, how to recognize that, how to train in that when you're alive now is that, first of all, we need to contemplate what is the difference between the waking state and the dream state. If you really know how to view it correctly, you recognize that the waking state and the and the dream state are exactly the same. Sometimes people think that they're not the same and this life is very long, but actually, what we call this life it is the time when the bardo consciousness enters the womb of the mother. So it assumes a form, it takes birth in this world, and from that moment until you die, that entire life is like a dream of a single night. So to us, it seems that we live 70 or 80 years, a long time, but after you have died, the perception will change. It will appear to you like, oh, yesterday I had this dream of this human world. It is like the dream that you had last night, a very short dream. And then the bardo becomes your reality, that you experience as your reality. So also the bardo then must be recognized as a dream. And now when we recognize this life as a dream-like by nature, we will also be able to let go of the clinging attachment to this life. So it is important to reflect on this again and again. So it is through the view of Mahamudra that you are able to see the dream-like nature of this life. And if you are able to see the dream-like nature of this life, then you will also be able to see the dream-like nature of the bardo at that time. And if you are able to see that in a bardo, then there will be no afflictive emotions projecting. There will be no manifestations of afflictive emotions. And even if they appear, even if some subtle manifestations of anger and jealousy and so on appear, then you will instantly be able to let go of them and they dissolve, and so you don't accumulate karma. So also in this life, if no karma is created, no imprint is created. And if no karma is created and you let go of all the afflictions that arise, then also later in the bardo, those appearances will not manifest. Because what manifests comes from your own mind. So therefore, if bodhichitta is present in your mind, then it will manifest as the Pure Lands. And if the afflictive emotions and self-grasping are present in the mind, then they will manifest as the 6 rams of samsara. Even if some subtle remnants of habitual tendencies manifest, maybe it is possible that there is some subtle karmas and subtle habitual patterns or imprints in the mind that you have not yet let go of, that manifest then. They are so subtle that at that time you will be able to also let go of them. So it is necessary, it is important to understand that this life, the bardo and future lives, are one and the same. And so here this term here also can be translated as you're training in your capacity of awareness. So you are perfecting awareness in this life. So right now in this life, it means you are recognizing each and every afflictive emotion and thought arising in your mind. For example, anger arises, and you instantly recognize, you are able to recognize your own anger and look at the fault of your own anger. Immediately you see anger has arisen. And then when the anger disappears through your recognition, then what remains after that is an extremely clear state of mind. And that is what we call the mirror-like wisdom. So to those who really know how to practice, to them the afflictive emotions are actually beneficial. They enhance their practice. So they will actually think the afflictive emotions are really good, very helpful. For example, if somebody makes you angry, anger arises, then you will feel very grateful to the other person, and you will actually think that he really helped me and bring up these afflictive emotions. And so this is how we train in the power of our awareness, which is really similar also to training our bodies. We are exercising our awareness. And that is through sustaining mindful awareness. We are training our awareness in overcoming and recognizing and overcoming the afflictive emotions. And for example, it is like the afflictive emotions are like wood. And if awareness is very strong, awareness which is like fire is very strong, then no matter what kind of wood arises, even large logs of wood, they all enhance the fire, and so the fire becomes even stronger. And so that is why in the Kagyu tradition of secret mantra, it also is said that the actual nature of the afflictive emotions is primordial wisdom. So this is how we here must train in awareness.
lam cheram zoran te cheram te kesi jamat kasi bardo le so chega le wa de na kasi ta bardo tambo ni ba sambani bardo ni ba ni ma do le te bardo sambani so mer la politi wa le ba na te te chele se ramji de rawang me pa ka de lapsis tablo lo me chwa ke de te le rong ke sel dang do yo le tel tata lerong da isik을 요 각하를 시대 기초 보여래 이식을 라왕 요래 lerong de rawang me 바테 tel 롱 de 카나 롱다 말이 이식을 시바데 다다 따가 시랍 뒤비 시랍 무리서 바 시랍 대게 뇌모 바는 통내 뇌모 바티 왕도 마샬 텔 이식을 이 세군대로 코로나 이식을 보여래 이식을 이요 말에 오 랑그르 고 어떤 심지 탐지 이제를 보고 이제 하고 있는데 잡도 집에 차상 접시 탐지 어찌과래서 하고 그러니 심지 탐지가 센터 사제 탐지가 센터 니 매화의 통로들이 이시대 심 매화 많이 살아요 요바 많이 나왔다 사또 나왔다 나와를 니 매화겠다 하고로 따에 다 좋네 데레데레데 따다다란 그 제르는 때네 갑들이 제르는 때는 박차는 배더니 전에 남바타서 통고요 갑들이들이 랑그 기와를 사더니 파마 내가 제와요 배 내린 다음에 통고요 때 통고를 남자들이 사야면 배는 걸어도 줘야면 그 트인 들라그 당시 홍을 때 속터나 들리지 담을 주디 예비신이 나서 가더니 기와 쪽을 매인들 어때서 매인을 때 제를 근데 봐봐 제록 정말을 쪽거지 최시 정말을 놓고 최시 정말을 주거 제록 정말에 주거리 강리 처박간에다가 처와다 니 직접 직장을 들려 kallam malam nalam la soqatri chaya yore te sawakami malam musina malam kamni jathor se na to meva chawa te chwa chuko te o malam sene te chuko paldo ta bo chuko le sangye jorum le chuko jerum le longo ni te salja ta ba te jedo jande she ko te bardo 대답을 당하고 그래서 람제도 이런 배짱 차서
람제정 디카와도
람제도 배짱 차
디카와 디제는 카와도데 람제저데 Where's the generation and completion stage? I can't find it. Super. La. I can't see this. Where are they? 그래 그냥 거 통음도 인지 돌아. The nails. The cover the certain sort of come this. Where is this? Does anyone see anything about generation and completion stage? I cannot see it. Oneness, samsara, nirvana, Prince Mahamudra. Bardo of dream. Milarepa. Milarepa. Re. Enlightened found.
Now this bardo the passive saljonser lamjedo in a beja rangi lam de bardo nyuma singo zonser rangi lam de bardo the bardo to tasik se do mari
Campbell, do you have any idea where we are? Huh? Do you? English 하고 상이나 인지 돌아 통음인도 인지 돌아 통음인도 인지
상아리 가시디 디 가요 말이 멀른 거 범데 저디 멀른 거 범데 저 인지 돌아 같이 와서 같이 점에서 봐야도 점도 이 돌아대 마저들이 야야도 돼서
Yeah, so there's something I cannot find. Maybe it's not added in this book. It's about, anyway, speaking about the generation and completion stages, practices in the Bardo then. I cannot find it, but if you happen to find it, you can let me know which page we are. But in the English, I don't think we have it here. So in any case, now how these practices now of generation and completion stages are now beneficial in the Bardo is that the generation stage, the visualization of the deity, the generation stage, by that we are training in the ways in which we take birth, the existence of birth. So then, if we train in the deity visualization, the generation stage, then there is a way to attain liberation in the second Bardo. And if we do still not attain liberation in the second Bardo, then still having trained in the generation stage and having cultivated love and compassion and so on, one might take birth in the human realm, anywhere in the higher realm. So in terms of taking birth, we generally don't have any control over it. The consciousness is forced. It is blown by the winds of karma, the karmic winds. And wherever the karmic winds bring you, naturally without control over it, consciousness will take birth there. So here we must discern between two kinds of winds. There is the karmic winds and the wisdom winds. The wisdom winds actually do have autonomy as in terms of where to take birth. But when we are driven by the karmic winds, then we have no freedom at all. And what we mean here with winds is not the coarse breath, like the air that we are breathing, not that kind of wind. But the wisdom winds, for example, are the winds of the view or mindfulness. It is the power of this recognizing, this clear knowing awareness, this capacity that sees the afflictive emotions and then does not become controlled by them. That is what we call the wisdom winds. And actually, the natural state of your own mind is that wisdom, primordial wisdom. And within primordial wisdom, there is no duality. So when you realize it, you realize that the essence of your own awareness and that of all sentient beings, the basis of mind itself, is all the same. It is like water. Within water, there is no separation at all. So when you see that there is no duality between yourself and all beings, then you have actualized primordial wisdom. And then what you have recognized then is the mind that is beyond the extremes of existence and non-existence. So it's not that there is nothing because there is clarity, but it's also not that there is something because it is also empty. It is clear and empty, just like space. And when you realize that, that is what we call you have resolved the view. And so through the generation stage, we are purifying these kind of imprints. And now in the bardo, then, all kinds of imprints might appear. So ordinarily, then, we come to see various places, and we'll then see gradually the place where we are to take birth. So we come into the presence of our future parents with whom we share a karmic connection. And so we see the place of our future birth. And at that time, there's also a method through the generation stage to become liberated into the nirmanakaya, and that is when it is time to take birth, and you see your future parents, then you should remember the deity. For example, Chakra Samvara Yap Yum, seeing your parents as Chakra Samvara Yap Yum, and your own consciousness as the syllable Hung, which then enters the womb. And then in that case, you take birth in the human realm, in a place where you will encounter the Dharma or become a spiritual teacher and so on. And that is what we call the ripening into a nirmanakaya. So that is the nirmanakaya way of ripening through the generation stage. And now then the dharmakaya relates to the completion stage. The training in the completion stage is related to the way in which we die, the death process. So actually dying and falling asleep are exactly the same. And when you die or you fall asleep, then part of the dissolution process is the appearance of the whiteness, the redness, the blackness, and so on. There's various stages of dissolution that in this life we can train in recognizing. For example, when you recognize the dream state, you have attained some kind of clarity. When you come to the deep sleep state or the basis of the mind, you may recognize. So there is different levels of recognition in our practice. And so in any case, when we recognize that natural state, the basis after death, we attain enlightenment already in the Dharmakaya. So the completion stage relates to the Dharmakaya, and the generation stage to the Sambhogakaya, but also in this third case, the Nirmanakaya.
Rāngi lāmdi pārdōru nyōngu yīshī ngū zhōng sē, nī jū jē dāngā gōmyāng tsā sōng. Nī jū dāngā rāngi lāmdi pārdōru tā tā tā, jēshī pārdōru tamshī lī chū pārē, rāngi jēnā sēm tamshī kā sēm kā rāngi rī. Rāngi jēnā sā rāngi sō, rāngi sēm kā nērok tā hā kōnā tēnī, 이시 무성도 이시성을 서로 종류를 말 랑그 생고 내려오다 다 신내고 막가니 신내들은 남도 직장 매라 또 남도 파시에 들리 남도 직장 매라가니 남도 강살 시크게 ben 남도 직장 매라 남도 마도서는 신기 시바대인 거죠. 들리 용의 시들 용마 가리라 거열 때 진치 용마 때 제시게 용마 시지 용마 제발 몇갈 콜라로 제발이 우리 쪽에 양태 18생 그때 콘덱스 바보서 때 연구에 이 18들에다가 우리 마시는 나한테 봐 나에 상가들이 땅나 파도를 참고도 마시기도 나나도 상고요래 특히 20대 때라 들이 따다다 원래잖아 뭐또 만나 갔다 와래 나기 니가 맞아 뭐또 봐야 돼 나니 맞아 강의 자체 많이 받으라 남이도 싫어 뭐또 만나 갔다 와래 요밀 강을라 맞춰봐 들러랑 진사르시잖아 심쿵이 시바 싸워대 싸우랑 진 동반남 갔다 와라 또 만나 갔다 와래 찹대바들이 싸워 다 공들 세고 내려오네 때에서 너무 이시잖아 그때 이시 가겠다 하더니 이 톰만 매반에 요래서 어떤 것을 사이에 담탐처럼 얘네 다다 일미 동직 장소들 사이 시바 탐치 그 세부 중요 대리스 오 사이에서 나서 찍봐야 사제에서도 가서 세드 찍봐야지 바도 말을 또 보여줘 말을 바꿔래 오 정말송 대다지 인통 대다지 이랬더니 대무보래 해서 대무보단 세매 찍네 그래서 나를 잡아주는 나를 차들이 다 나지 배치 그래서 얘가 땅 나 차당이 똑바로면서 락바 차당이 차를 잘해도 이 받 차버 되는 용어가 똑바로 배는 차당을 근데 들들이 너 차도 봐 진짜 세상서 봤으면 손이 또 못도 봤더니 너도 제대로 때라서 봤다야 락바 차당이 하나더니 락바 차당 멍성을 했지 멍치발에 나를 차 이제는 딱 대가 센터 쪽까지는 센터 싸움을 차로 쳤어만 하는 들이 나간 일로나 들이 저기 가도 전도를 처인장 초코라는 줄 알아요 말이야 내가 찐지 줄 알아 찐지로 대하고서는 들이 찐지 가리 쪽도 되는 찐지는 이제 봐쇼네 내지 그쪽 내지만 저쪽으로 말이야 남이 제가 담지 너무 쉽지나 라상 너무 버리지 하고네 오, 지금 하고서는 시바고 싸워대 그요 싸워대는 때 유모한테 맨 유모한테 생각을 해 시합때 매일 차잖아 우리 냠슬레마다 니니단들이 너무 이신문지다 니네 돈아 쪼들이 때리 이런 건 줘야 돼 저런 건 줘야 돼 너무 이신문지지 들이 때렸다 대하고서는 삽동 남갔다 그랬더니 다짐배가 들이 때는 남갔다 그랬더니 죽어 들이 산지 죽었고 용용도 말이 들려 야면 얘기대 강을 싸우라는 짓이 yap동을 한 짓이 연거처럼 때리고서 사는 거요 역시 도가거나 사무실 있고 들어가면 사는 거였지 뭐 줘봐라더니 덕덕받았더니 롱거도 사는 거 죽고 영리 롱거 사람 롱거도 죽고 성족 차대요 가리리들은 싸움 통화대 롱주도 먹고 통특이요래 오늘 뭐또 봐 야송다가 빼는 야송다를 자잖아 롱거 야송다가 죽고 남갔다 그러지 제일 양장도 빼잖아 들이다도 센터를 사동이 하고 그러잖아 지금 이들이 싹 가리는 남상 메라오는 가서 있다 왜 샤바들했더니 제일은서 데이터가 하고 그러더니 용문이 시든 것은 들이 바도 독들이 다 하고 듣고 해서
So then, probably we also don't have this part, but in the next verse, anyways, Milarepa speaks of recognizing on this path the innate and primordial wisdom, and so that is now we have recognized that Now, this life and future lives and the bardo is all the same. So this innate primordial wisdom transcends birth and death. It is the natural state of the mind, the nature of your mind. So when you have realized the nature of your own mind, you have recognized this innate primordial wisdom. So first, now when we engage in practice now, when we meditate and rest, try to realize the nature of mind. So first we practice shamatha, calm abiding. First, all conceptual thoughts calms down. So you are in a state free of all thinking at all, first of all. And then within that state, when there is no more thought in your mind, then what remains still, even though there is no more thought, what remains always is this clear awareness. There is a clear awareness that knows of the absence of thoughts. It is fully aware that there are no thoughts in the mind. And that clear knowing awareness is this innate primordial wisdom or awareness. It is called innate because it transcends birth and death. It is that awareness that is always there, continuously. It is never born and it will never die, never cease to be. And at times we are unmindful, and we are unmindful, we are unaware of it. But still, it is that awareness that engages in all of the activities in samsara and nirvana. And so for as long as we do not recognize this awareness manifests in the concept of I. So we think that there is a me. For example, you think that I am wandering in the bardo, or I have died, or I am in pain, I'm sick, and so on. And so then when you look at that awareness, it becomes empty like space. So the essence is empty, and you cannot find a duality of self and other within that. There is no separation between self and other. So the essence is empty, there is no self to be found. And that realization is the wisdom that realizes selflessness. So the empty essence abides like space, and it can neither said to be existing, nor can it said to be non-existing. It is empty like space, but there is also a natural, present, clear awareness, and knowing awareness that knows its own empty nature. It's space-like nature. So this space-like nature that is clear and empty is all-pervasive. So that is the actual state of your mind, and it is called the innate primordial awareness. It is called primordial because it has always been there since beginningless time. It is the nature of your own mind and the nature of the deity. It is said in some prayers, a practice, a supplication to the deity, where we say that since primordial times, we have been indivisible. Our minds have been indivisible. So the mental continuum of the deity, the Buddhas, and our own is the same. There is no separation. And then that prayer continues, even though primordially we are indivisible, then due to ignorance, due to confused thoughts of ignorance, my mind has become obscured. And so that concept, this ignorant concept that has arisen, is that concept of an I. And because we perceive an I, we see a duality of self and other. And we believe that perception to be true. So we hold on to the belief in the true existence of the phenomena that we see and the characteristics that we attribute them. And so due to that, what intensifies is our attachment to the self. We begin to cherish the self, and we develop an aversion against other. So on the course level, it is attachment and aversion. And the more subtle version of attachment and aversion is hope and fear. But basically all thoughts, all afflicted thoughts come down to that, attachment and aversion. We speak about 80 different concepts of the afflictions. There is 40 of attachment, 33 of anger or hatred, and 7 of ignorance. And in the more coarse form, we speak about those 3, attachment, aversion, and ignorance. So that is what makes the mind be in a state of darkness or ignorance. It is because we cling to ourselves and we have an aversion against other. This is what makes the mind become unclear. It is just like when you're pouring different colors into water, then the color of the water temporarily changes. But still it has the nature of water. It only changes due to a temporary condition. And so it is because we grasp at this condition, we develop a belief in the reality of our experiences. So to a real practitioner, a practitioner will not grasp at the truth of that condition that arises and will instantly recognize their own afflictive emotion with awareness. A practitioner will be able to sustain clarity, and then this awareness is like fire and the afflictive emotions like wood. So a true practitioner recognizes this innate primordial awareness in this way. And the actualization, the realization of that innate awareness, that is the fruition of the generation stage and also the fruition of the completion stage. So it is to recognize this clear and empty space-like nature of the mind where there is no duality of self and other. So the space-like nature is the Dharmakaya of all the Buddhas. And then there is the appearance of the deity, appearing in yab, yum aspect, or male and female. The yab, or the male, represents the nature of clarity, and the yum, or the female, represents the empty nature. For example, in the practice, the Togol practice of Dzogchen, there's various appearances that manifest, deities may manifest, such as Samantabhadra in Yab-Yum aspect. And so what appears is the Sambhogakaya, but actually the Sambhogakaya is indivisible from the Dharmakaya. So what is clearly seen is the Sambhogakaya aspect. But although it can be seen, its essence is still empty, like a rainbow. So the space-like nature is the Dharmakaya, and the rainbow-like appearance is the Sambhogakaya. So if you understand the clear and empty nature of the mind, then instantly any deity can appear in this mind, just like the reflection in a mirror. And that is the accomplishment of the generation stage. And so if you understand that, you will be able to recognize that this innate primordial awareness. And when you recognize that, then you will recognize the nature of all 6 bardos.
대 답변 가능 해주기 담아서 해주기 담아들 제발 요래 다다 저도 다왕어 또 봐라더니 하게 삭신다 독신 롱록바고 보면다가 다 코랑이 니죠 말에 죽을 틀이야 찍대 찍봐서 요래 또지 라도 로철라더니 나라미라 냠농자버라 요래 대샤네 니즈 줄들이 Roma te pati, Roma ishi ngatri, lama hinge lama tal Roma ngatri, magula tili shane hindi juga, tiri nyamnong drama mambo yores, tiri tato todi tong tiri ponjori yomari, kangta changti, ta saja chemo shibate ko, sawadiro tomani re, jachemo shibate, sebi nirok tata, ulir musi makto kona. Now she was the dog yoretani, 동의를 풍부를 강의 상태되는 정도요래 나사동에 되는 정성마발 습이 내려도 하고서나 속부터 오다 보면 습 나가나지 들리는 잡을 형대가 나지 근데 뒤에는 제가 초와 동의 너무 올라서 같은 가게미와 잠초를 납다베치 드리세는 마토가 생기다 보면 이제요 봐 배는 마토가 생기다 보면 잡지는 차오르다 버리 하고 들리는 이제 봐 드리 대사가 또를 돈 대사가 또야 사실 너무 행복해 얘나 또 타블렛들 타블랑다 돌란 이서 그러니 타블랑들은 해주 고탄지 타블랑성 요래 돈들이
So, and then I also don't think we have that, but anyways, it says then you should meditate on the instructions that are passed on through the oral or whispering lineage. And so that is now when, in terms of realizing the view, there are different systems. According to the mantra system, there is the approach of the Mahamudra and of Dzogchen, and according to the system of the scriptures and reasoning and so on, there is the view of the middle way, the Madhyamaka. And so ultimately, what is to be realized is one and the same thing. It is that the Dharmakaya is a single whole sphere. So there is not many, it is just one whole sphere of Dharmakaya that is to be realized. But then to realize it, there are various paths or approaches and different experiences to be gained. And so according to the whispering lineage, this oral lineage, it is passed on by a guru who possesses compassion to a disciple who possesses devotion of faith, trust in that guru. And so when the lineage is then passed on in this way, various experiences may manifest, but ultimately what is to be realized in the end always remains the same. There's one and the same nature to be realized. So according to the view of Mahamudra, we realize the empty, clear essence of the mind that is vast. And now, for as long as we have not realized that this is our true nature, it manifests, our mind manifests as us perceiving ourselves as an I. So we think there's an I, as a separately existing entity that is the self. And that entity, individual I, is a heap of suffering. And it is from that entity of I where all the suffering and all the pain and all the illness arise from. So this aggregate of suffering, as Marpa has referred to it. And then when you see the nature of the mind, what you see is that even if the body is just the size of a thumb joint, the mind is vast like space and can encompass the entire universe. And so then what you realize is that whenever an afflictive emotion or a problem arises, it does not create you suffering any longer, because the mind has become like the ocean water. And when you have become like that, and then you see that those sentient beings who have not realized that, they suffer greatly, then great compassion for them arises. So you realize that those sentient beings are just like ice blocks floating in the water. And if you know that, you will be able to develop compassion for them. So that really is the essence to be realized, the essence of the practice. And then in order to realize that, there are basically two paths: the path of skillful means and the path of liberation. And so this lineage, the oral transmission of the whispering lineage, belongs to the path of skillful means.
그러니까 네 따로고는 공장이 마보요래 고저 좋아하니 마보도 좋아서 가르쳐도 땅에 따와 대도 살도 대도 살도 대도 좀도 가르쳐야지 대손만 보여요래 태촌데 자와리 고고 말이 태촌 매바다 딱 강래들 네 다가 독체经历上 최대시 송经历바강래 유무가 지어 깝들이 다리 따와지 유무보다 털라 대식동한테 지하차 지하들 세송 고요 말이 유무가 맞을라 다른 거 따와지 대처리 사촉처럼 말이다 대적으로 사람들이 쪼들이들 사바도 조 사바도 hin지 고요에 돈이 또 hin지 또 따서도 뉴욕 쇼까지 지나 뉴욕 심한 타들이 매상 보신 들어가는 차들이 따뜻해 태송 고요 말이 애들이 라만게 받을 따로 또经历的 최대시에서 뒤집어 나와야 본도 공안 남도 본도 참이 연구할 때 쟁이 받은 표현하더니 다른 거 나와서 장애도 하고 온 거여서 들리는 때 랑랑을 다 주고를 맞다 세상에서 정말 유머 가리를 시작하고도 없어 이제 세상을
So there's many practitioners who meditate in the view and resting in the nature of mind, and often there's a lot of questions that arise. People ask, for example, they say that when I'm resting in the natural state, then this and that arises and appears, and then what is that? What does that mean? And so they give rise to many doubts regarding their experiences during meditation. So there is no need to have any doubts about anything, because now what the past masters have said, my own gurus, is that you will know the level of your realization of the view when in the face of negative circumstances. So what is that negative circumstance? It is when afflictive emotions arise. When afflictive emotions arise and you face them with the view, then through this awareness, the afflictive emotion will be destroyed. And when that is accomplished, there is no need to have any doubt about your practice whatsoever. Then you surely have developed a quality of practice. And now, on the other hand, if you are unable to eliminate the afflictive emotion, then that is a sign that bodhichitta has not yet arisen in your mind. And then all kinds of things may appear that may confuse you. So what is essential is to develop love and compassion for your companions, those near you. And it is really through compassion that you will realize emptiness. So especially when very powerful afflictive emotions arise, instantly recognize them. Then the afflictive emotion becomes like wood and the awareness like fire that recognizes the wood instantly. And then if the afflictive emotion again disappears, there is no need to have any doubts about your practice. So the masters have said, if you wish to know your level of practice in the view, then you will know that when you encounter negative circumstances. So it is when ever afflictive emotions and all kinds of thoughts arise. That is when you know where you are at in your practice. And so in this way, actually, there is no need to have any doubts or ask any questions. You can just see it for yourself where you're at. And so if you find that you have awareness and you're able to let go of those afflictions, you can decide your level of practice for yourself. Then you have no doubt about yourself. You know that I'm able to let go of the afflictive emotion as it arises.
Kereze Wate Janzoye Shabelze the Bardo Dinjoye. Everybody sang God, thank you. Thank you. Om Ahom.
Om Ahom. Om Ahom. Om Ahom. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Thank you all very much. Just a couple words. This has been wonderful, priceless teaching that we've been receiving from Garchen Rinpoche. So as we have lunch, we should be mindful of these teachings and so on, and not engaging in any kind of negative conversation or anything like that. It all should be all very pleasant, which it always is here at Drikung Dharma Surya Center. I'd just like to tell you a little bit about what's coming up in the next few months. Next month we talked about Gardroma. Garchen Rinpoche is going there, and he's going to be giving his experiences and the pith instructions that he received from his teachers. And that's going to be a Gardroma. We're going to be able to be live streaming it here. So if you'd like to come, it'll be on a big 8-foot wide screen and a good sound system, so you'll be able to enjoy it if you're not able to go to Gardroma in Ohio. Later in the month in May, after that, we're going to be having Vajrasattva Empowerment by Khenpo Sandop. And then in June is going to be the Sagadawa Visek celebration that'll be here. Many of the Buddhist communities will be here, the monks and their Sangha members will be here. In July, Khenpo Sandop is going to be giving teachings on Shenrezig, Manjushri, and Medicine Buddha. So to do those deity yoga practices, the books that we've been using, that we were using last week, and all have those sadhanas in them. So we'll be able to learn those practices and be able to do those practices here in the shrine room, and hopefully you'll take them up and be able to do them at home yourself. In August, Jetsun Khandro is coming for a weekend. Her subject hasn't been determined just yet, but we know it's going to be exciting. So she's going to be here the first weekend in August. And then the last weekend in August, Kendro Rinpoche is going to be here, and he's going to be teaching the essence of the Uttara Tantra, which is the Buddha Dharma Tantra, and is a very, very profound teaching. So that's going to be special. He's going to be here for about 5 days for that in August. Then our regular programs that we have, our Children's Sunday programs that we have, that we've seen the benefit of. Last week, the children gave a great play presentation to Garchen. Was very, very well done. There's going to be a summer camp for kids here the second week in June. So a lot of the Tibetan kids, Mongolian kids, Vietnamese kids come for that. So that's a really nice thing. And then we have ongoing programs where we do the Nundro practices and we do Buddhism 101, we're going to be teaching an introduction to the dual ornamental liberation. So these are some of the programs we have for the next few months. Just want to let you know what it is that we're doing. Your support is needed. We need your support both in participation and then also in financial and so on. Everything that you can do to help us is greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. Lunch will be outside.
Here.
Looks like you got plenty of room.
That's important.
Last night?
Yeah.